The new dawn of sports coverage. More than just the score. More than just highlights. With Brian Ayala, Nikita Faustin, Mitch Goldich, Lorenzo Patrick, Karen Quant, and Patrick Roth. You're in the control room.
Latin baseball players have always made their mark in Major League Baseball, from Roberto Clemente to guys like Miggy and Pujols.
And now Yasiel Puig and Carlos Gonzalez are really becoming stars also.
In 2013, Hispanics were 28% of the players in the majors, and even more Hispanic players are in the minors. These young players are coming in from all over the world, and hardly any of them finished high school. Some of them could barely order off a menu at McDonald's, let alone talk to their hitting coach. Teams are now focusing on improving these players' English and helping the transition to America a little bit easier. So I hit the road and visited 2 single-A teams, where I saw the action on the field and in the classroom.
Ready, green. Roll green. Take.
Learning to hit a 90-mile-per-hour fastball is hard enough. But for some players, it's not the only challenge they face.
That's my first rule. I won't translate anything. Just at the beginning of the year, I just have my rules in a paper, in a sheet, and it's in English and in Spanish, so make sure they understand the rules. Besides that, is everything in English.
It's been a little difficult for me because I never saw English in Venezuela, only when I signed with the Detroit Tigers.
The Detroit Tigers signed Zambrano 3 years ago, but this is his first season with the single-A West Michigan Whitecaps. The player's skill level will determine how long they'll play in the international summer leagues before moving on up to the States for rookie ball. But even at the lowest level of competing for their club's affiliate team, basic English classes begin.
He, she, it is. He, she, it.
The fact that we have English teachers down in the DSL, Dominican Summer League down there, and in Venezuela, these players that are coming over now are more developed in their English and cultural. They know more culturally than what they used to when I was playing.
It's the simple things which add to these cultural experiences, as it was for 19-year-old Javier Betancourt.
The cold weather, that's good. The snow, that was good for me.
Betancourt is also from Venezuela, like Zambrano, and both played on the same rookie team. In his first year in the US, Betancourt learned a lot on the field, and he won the league's batting title.
Are there any of these that are new that you do not know?
But it was with a little help from the team's English classes, where he learned the ABCs of baseball in a crossword puzzle, such as aspirin, bullpen, and chin music.
In
our classes, more than anything, they'll teach us how to differentiate types of food, order at a restaurant, baseball terminology, everything about what the coach says in certain plays.
Almost every major league team has some sort of educational program in place for international players. They hire local English as second language teachers to hold classes in between home games.
That wherever there's an international player, that they're receiving English lessons if they need it, cultural assimilation, providing for their basic needs as far as learning to move around in this country.
Now I can communicate with my teammates because 2 years earlier I couldn't say anything. Well, I could tell them something, but very little.
When I was in the Marlin system, once you've reached a certain league, there weren't any English classes available. So here at Quad Cities, well, you have to go league by league. And if you don't know English perfectly, you need to take the classes. And that's a good thing.
Many teams are making strides to improve their program and replicate some of the successes from the Tigers. One of them is the single-A club for the Houston Astros.
These students have a tremendous number of challenges when they're coming to this country, and the language, they need full support in regards to the learning the English language to become more confident and to become better listeners on the playing field.
Players for Quad Cities work on their English outside of the classroom too. The team has changed its travel arrangements to help.
When we're on a road trip, we can't room with the other Latin players. We have to room with an American player so that we're forced to speak English with them. And I like that.
Little by little, these players are getting used to the American way of life. There's more to it than just learning the language.
¿Qué extraña más de la República Dominicana?
Mi familia, mi madre, mis hermanos, todos mis familiares.
For me, one of the biggest difficulties is food. I miss my mom's cooking, and over here I don't get the same substances like I do in the Dominican Republic.
At 18 years old, Adames is the youngest player in the Whitecaps clubhouse and a promising prospect for the Tigers. For only being in the States a few months, the shortstop is taking a liking for the Midwest.
Michigan is great. I love play baseball here because in the stadium have a lot fans.
And the same could be said for the young infielder playing beside Adames.
Everything has gone well so far. I've been able to develop my language skills a little bit, and my teammates say my English is getting better. And they're great teachers. They tell me, you teach me Spanish and I'll teach you English. For me, that's the best deal I can get, because Spanish is difficult for them.
Betancourt feels more confident in his second year playing. Part of that is because two of his favorite fans, his mom and sister.
Cuando él estuvo acá el año pasado, cuando viajó por primera vez.
When he was here last year and traveled for the first time, it was difficult. Difficult because it was the first time we were separated for so long. About 6 months without seeing each other. We only talked on the phone. But we did not want to come last year so he could learn how to adapt without us.
Despite being thousands of miles away, Betancourt's family found ways to support him. So for his birthday last year, his sister sent him a gift to lift his spirits.
We printed photos of the whole family, and in big letters it said, "We love you." We put pictures and quotes that everyone says. So for my mom's picture, we put, "My baby, everything is going to be all right. We love you. God bless you."
The collage was nice, but the best gift came in May, when Betancourt's mother and sister came to visit for a full month.
Since we arrived, we took over the kitchen of the host family because we cook for them almost every day.
Zambrano, who lives with Betancourt in the same host family home, is also enjoying the extra company.
The food is better. Well, it's the Venezuelan flavor, you understand? More than anything, I see Miss Betancourt as a mother because she reminds me of my mother, and it makes me feel more confident.
And that confidence builds up in the classroom.
I noticed that when he's in a group, he tends to be very shy and he doesn't speak as much. But when he's just with me alone, you know, he's not afraid to make mistakes. And I think in learning a new language, you need to make mistakes in order to, to improve.
For the most part, the players enjoy the classes.
I like the classes and feel like it's a part of my job, like learning about pitching. I do need to get better at it to move ahead in my career. And yeah, there are times where I feel lazy to go to class. But at the same time, I stop and say to myself, I have to go because I need it. I need to learn.
And if they don't go on to play in the big leagues, the English will also help them back in their countries, because if you're bilingual, it always helps you in employment. And they realize that.
Each of these players came to this country to fulfill their dreams of playing in the majors. Very few, if any, may get that opportunity. But when looking back at their careers, they'll realize that playing in the minors taught them something more than just baseball. From a business point of view, there's little reason for teams to have these programs. As long as these players are performing on the field, it doesn't matter what language they speak. So the fact that these organizations are helping these players out, in my opinion, is an admirable thing.
Keep up with the Control Room by following us on Twitter. Follow at @ControlRoom_TV.